Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. And as always, thank you for all your support, including sharing, chatting, liking, and subscribing. Now roll that famous logo animation! Good evening, and welcome back to Computerized Start Live! I am your host, Justin D. Morgan, and luckily, I caught an unauthorized microphone source switch in OBS before I went live. Of course, OBS did a really poor job of hiding the fact that it had switched one of the microphone sources. And when the view meter does, like, nothing, hint, hint. Alright, let's see who we have in the chat. Chat that hopefully can hear me. We have Gutbomb. Hi, Jason. We have I8386SX. Hi, Jesse. Jesse says there is a term for this. Some call it late, but that isn't it. Hashtag just in time. Yes, we have SadMac356. Hi, SadMac. Yeep. We have Mike's Future Retro. Hi, Mike. Mike says, I made it. I'm here. Yay. We have Jean-Francois Parr. Hi, Jean. Jean-Francois. And let's see here. We have the Dinosaur. Dinosaur says roar. And what else do we have? We have, well, of course, well, I've got a new coffee goal. Link is in the description. I just spent $200 US to have some Atari ST stuff shipped to me. So yeah, there's that. That's the goal. Hopefully it will be working when it arrives. It is arriving from a foreign land. That's why the shipping was so high. And no, it's not from eBay. From some marketplace somewhere. Anyways, there's also, of course, another mysterious land that we need to go visit. And that land would be the following.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for our favorite segment, Wheel of Regrets. Here's your host, Justin D. Morgan.
Hey, who comes up with these titles anyway?
And I just noticed Mike is telling me there's something not right with my audio. Let's see here. Microphones. Yeti stereo microphone. That is the correct audio source. Let me check your filters. Capcom says my noise gate is being way too aggressive. Alright, is that better? Is that no, that doesn't appear to be better. That appears to be worse. What is going on, OBS? Alright, I turned off the gate. Noise gate is being way too aggressive. Alright, I don't know what OBS is doing. Because I'm looking at my filters. I deleted the problematic filter so I wouldn't accidentally turn it on. Okay, I've got my limiter on. I have the compressor on. The compressor and the limiter have the same settings as far as I can tell. Wait a minute. The compressor. Ah, we have Sylvestron. Hi, Sylvestron. And we have 1-bit. Hi, 1-bit. I'm apparently having audio problems because OBS. Well, that's not it. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about the audio. I have the audio input is turned all the way up. If I start turning off the filters, then the audio gets quieter, as I will demonstrate here. See, now we have really quiet audio. Turn up the gain on my Yeti a bit. All right, I am. All right, I'll turn. I have not touched anything. All right, is that better? Well, it's not as loud as it should be. All right. Seriously, I don't think I touched the controls, so I have no idea what happened. All right, Samx says still better though. 1-bit, yes. Sylvester says much. Ah, RetroTech Chris says howdy. All right, and we're good now. All right, so let's see here. We have our now that we are in Wheel of Regrets. Oh, hola, MacFX. We have a $4.99 super chat. Eep. Thank you. Yes, that'll help go towards the Atari ST shipping stuff. Yes, we have a non-sponsored item here, because I bought it with my own money. I have one of these new powered toothbrushes, because apparently all the cool YouTubers are buying these instead of regular toothbrushes. And all I can think of is that 5 out of 5 dentists recommend the toothbrush they sell in their office. 4 out of 5 dentists will recommend any toothbrush if the manufacturer pays them. And 0 out of 5 dentists recommend using a toothbrush in your mouth after you use it to clean PCBs. So therefore, this is my PCB cleaning power toothbrush. Note, it's the store brand. All right. Now, moving along to the actual first Wheel of Regrets entry. Oh, Chris says, I bought a bunch of IO cards in the mail. Oh, I got a bunch of IO cards in the mail today, but I'm too tired to check them out. Ah. All right. Mike says audio is much better. 1-bit says, I bought VGA PS2 KVM from eBay, but he never sent it. Oh, no. Oh, Jesse says, sounds is much better. I thought I broke my laptop after I dropped it. No, it was just OBS and my microphone ganging up on me. All right, so this first potential eBay regret comes to us from Florida. So hi to all my viewers and eBay sellers in Florida. We have Sorcerer Stan in the chat. Hi, Sorcerer Stan. Stan says, I just came in to find Justin hawking toothbrushes now. And to go with that wonderful store brand toothbrush, I recommend a 2D 3D graphics card. It's ISO 9002 certified. It's got an FCC logo. It has a CE logo. It's got a Air Force pilot from some country and planes, jets. Somehow those don't look American, but maybe they are. I don't know my planes very well. Anyways, yes, this thing, I have high expectations because we have the Air Force and we have the Army on here. And, there we go. And you know it's going to be a quality product when it has multiple checkboxes and has 8 megabytes ticked on it. Jesse says, Trident toothbrushes seem like a great marketing idea. Sadback says, this is amazing. 10 out of 10, no notes. RetroTech Chris says, ISO certified. We have a process. We follow a process. And it might even be a good process. Yes. Now, does anyone want to take a guess at what video card we have here? You know, it's got 8 megabytes. Oh, Looky there, it's got a CD, VGA card driver. Please run mssetup.exe, then press installation guide icon and you can get the manual. Version 2.37 in. I like how they've continued the theme with the clouds on it. Sadmac says, if it's not Trident. 1bit says, ISO certified means I can play MS-DOS ISO pirated games with it. Well, Sadmac, congratulations. It is not a Trident card. We have what I think might be one of the most interesting cards here. We have a Savage 9 from S3 Incorporated. And now, I'm just... Sylvestron says, it's got to be a VIC-20 GPU, right? Capcom says, it would be possible to shove that into a VIC-20 cartridge slot. I bet it would be. If you don't have a case on, yeah. Now, I'm just waiting for someone to notice something suspicious about this video card. Because we have a ROM, we have a VGA port, and we have AGP, and we have a couple of what must be high-quality capacitors, a crystal, a voltage regulator. RetroTech Chris says, quote, video card has manual with DirectX install instructions. To view it, please install DirectX first. Yeah. Sadback says, wait, there's something missing? Yes, there is something missing. Oh, it would probably help if I turned the card over. Sylvestron's taking a guess, missing TV out. No, it's not missing TV out. Sadmac says, I think it's supposed to be a transistor. Nope. I'm not going for that. 1bit says, unpopulated DDR5 RAM slot. Ooh, 1bit is getting close. Ah! Gutbomb says, where is the RAM? And RetroTech Chris says, no flux capacitor. Yeah, we're not going to be going back in time to the late 90s, early 2000s. This is a laptop GPU chip. And the 8 megabytes of video RAM is on the Savage 9 chip. That's why I had to buy this. Because this is like, I think might be the earliest example of a GPU including memory on the chip. Also, I think it might be one of the only examples of a GPU including memory on the chip. On die RAM, yes. Gutbomb says, weird. Jesse says, not enough memory. Yeah. That's 1bit says it's software video RAM. The video buffer is hard disk cache. Yeah, it's a mobile GPU on an AGP card. Sylvestron says, how interesting. And of course, RetroTech Chris, not to be undersold, says, that's a pretty savage move of them. Good one, Chris. All right, so at some point, we will have to try this GPU out. Also, if anyone's wondering how much I paid for this, not much. That's the only reason I bought it. Oh yeah. The video card itself was $12.99. So, I didn't pay much because I'm not expecting much out of it. All right, the next potential regret comes to us from Arizona. So, hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Arizona. We have this quite unassuming looking priority mailbox. 1bit says, over 9,000 pesos. All right, so we're going to open this. Oh, no. They included packing peanuts. How dare they? Don't they know that LGR hates packing peanuts? Although what that has to do with them sending me packing peanuts, I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. Anyways. All right. So this is probably the last thing I really needed to buy, but I've been watching it for a while, and I finally found the perfect excuse to buy one. Sylvestron says, but they are biodegradable starch peanuts or evil foam ones. They're the evil foam ones. We have an IBM sound card. And for anyone wanting confirmation that it is an IBM sound card, there is the FRU. Oh, there. It's an actual... I don't think IBM made it, but it would have been sold with an IBM. Chris says, oh dear. And the reason I bought this sound card is because of this socket right here. Instead of having a wavetable header, you would buy a wavetable chip for it. Oh, no, there's no OPL on it. It's a crystal sound card. And the reason I bought this is because this is the sound card option that IBM would have sold you with the IBM PCs that I bought from Tom Barber at the swap meet. So therefore, that finally gave me the excuse to buy one of these. And yes, I do have 2 of the wavetable chips en route, and they have apparently cleared customs and arrived at the destination country. And yes, I can tell you the shipping price went up since I last ordered chips from that country, because the shipping price included all applicable customs and duties. Otherwise, I would have not bought the chips, because I like to know what I'm going to pay up front. Anyways, we'll have fun with this later. And hopefully, at least one of those 2 wavetable chips will work. Otherwise, I will be quite disappointed. All right. What crystal acronym you got? I don't have a crystal acronym, but all right. This next item comes to us from an eBay seller in California. So hi to all my viewers and eBay sellers in California. Now, if this is the item I think it is, I have a funny story. So like 2 weekends ago, found a whole bunch of cheap single board computers on eBay. It was the same weekend Chris found a whole bunch of cheap hard drives on eBay. Oh. 1bit wanted to know which crystal chip it was. Oh, it's the CS4237B. Chris says, yeah, every day more hard drives show up here. So that's which crystal chips on there. So anyways, I went on eBay to buy no single board computers. I went on eBay to buy 1 single board computer. I think. Because I think I'd 0 or 1, and I ended up buying 3. So unfortunately, I just spoiled 3 of the items that I think I finally have waiting for me to open. But the reason why I'm telling you this is because this seller, if this is the one I think it is, and I'll know here in a moment, I found their listing. They had listed it so cheap that I just bought it now. And the following morning, they sent me an email saying, oh no, we had a pricing mistake. We listed it too low, and our shipping box size was too small, so you got a good deal. And I didn't know how to take that, if they were, like, disappointed at me or themselves. Did they ever want to do business with me again? And then a couple hours later, he sends me another message saying, hey, I have another single board computer you might be interested in, and I'd take $30 for it. So I looked at it, and I was like, yeah, I'd kind of like to have that, and I'm willing to pay $30 plus shipping. And I noticed he had fixed his shipping price, so I made him the offer on it and paid $30. Now, the third single board computer came from a totally different seller. But anyways, Chris says, we're sorry you bought our product. Anyways, so long story short, I bought 2 single board computers from him, and he actually sent me a link with the third he's got for sale. It's just not one I was as crazy about buying, but I don't know. If it's still available next month, I might making him an offer for it. Because it is kind of it's a PC 104 single board computer. But 3 single board computers, when I was only really intending to buy one, is my limit for the month. Yes, this is one of the single board computers from that seller, I believe. And yes, I think this is one of the ones, the one I might have intended to buy. Because we have an Advantech brand single board computer. So the one nice thing about Advantech, unlike some of their competitors, they publish all their data sheets and everything, or at least every time I've looked for documentation on their website, they don't put it behind like a login wall or a paywall or something. So it's like they're totally fine with you acquiring their product by some other means, and they'll still let you get the documentation. So anyways, this is a Socket 7 single board computer with, I think, 128 megabytes of RAM. Yes, megabytes. I got the size right. And no onboard video. No, it does not have an onboard video. So I can use this with any video chip I want, and I won't have a video conflict, or I have to figure out where the jumper is to disable it. And I think it was somewhere around $30 plus shipping. And because I know you all are going to ask, Cutbomb says 3 single board computers equals 1 triple board computer. Oh, hi, Joe. Welcome. Joe's like, I've never seen those before. Do they use some wacky backplane thing? Yes, they do. I think this one's a Pentium 233. Yes, I have a backplane somewhere, but this is what they call a, looking for the logo on it so that I don't get the letters backwards. I usually call it a PICMIG, because I think it's PICMG, and I think that stands for PCI ISA Computer Manufacturing Group or something like that. But yeah, this is PCI. It routes to a passive PCI backplane. This is ISA. It just goes to a passive ISA backplane. Now, they have fancier backplanes that actually have active, like, bridge chips, so you can have more slots. But I have some very basic backplanes. They're just basically like 3 ISA slots, 3 PCI slots, and this board directly drives them. Yep, Sylvestron's confirming it is PICMG. Yes. RetroTech Chris says backplanes almost look like VLB cards for this class of board. Yes, they do. Sylvestron says I have a nice Portwell Peak 560 SBC. So for those of y'all that don't know, I am an automation engineer, basically. Granted, I'm a test engineer. I test the automation controls, the firmware for the automation controls. So I kind of have a fondness for single board computers. Because, sure, they've done a lot of work, but you can, if you find them just right, you can get them pretty cheap. As long as you find them from someone that's just trying to get rid of them and not someone that's trying to sell a tested spare to a business that is still using them and needs replacements at whatever cost. And the thing is, they pretty much are the whole computer on a board. So you could basically have a bunch of different computers that fit one backplane, and you could just basically have this and a compact flash card or something that goes with it, and you can swap them out. RetroTech Chris says, oh, you mean Radwell pricing? Yes, I do. Sadmex says, neat. Yes. So anyways, this one is a Socket 7 single board computer, and it is an Intel chipset, so it's not not going to take any of the Super 7 processors, but it does have the VRM, so it'll take the dual voltage ones. And as I said, I purposely picked this one up because it does not have the integrated video, because a lot of single board computers do. So I can basically use this with any video card, and I don't have to worry about the video conflicting or worrying about where the jumpers are, because there is no video chip to begin with. And anyways, so it's got one serial port. That's a combo keyboard mouse port, so I just use a standard breakout. Luckily, I have a couple of the breakout types that Advantech uses. And then there's our two IDE, Floppy, Parallel, and there's USB right there. And there's the second serial. And then since this is Advantech, this port actually is a keyboard connector that would go to a keyboard connector on an Advantech backplane. Yeah, Parallel. And then there we go, our 4 32 megabyte SIMs for 128 megabytes total. And it's just a cool little form factor. So that's single board computer number 1. Now, I don't know where the others are in the pile of boxes. But anyways, that's the first single board computer. So at some point, I'm going to have a single board computer testing stream. All right, but until then, let's get to the next box. So this one comes to us from an eBay seller in Michigan. So hi to all my viewers and eBay sellers in Michigan. Specifically, I don't often say which seller it is. However, if this is what I think it is, you'll probably recognize the seller because they list a lot of stuff. It's Lake Michigan Computers. I've bought from them before. So I'm really not expecting this to be a regret. But I don't quite remember what this is. If it says anything, despite my best efforts of not buying anything on eBay today, I bought a couple more things from them today because they listed them today. And if you were watching Dave's stream on Sunday, you might even have a good guess at what one of the items was. Oh! Ha ha! I should have guessed. Remember how I said that there was a third single board computer that I bought from another seller? Yeah, now I know why this box was so hefty. And in fact, they have more of these, or at least they... Oh, MacEffect says they are 45 minutes from my house. Oh, cool. In fact, they have a few more of these. Or at least they did last time I checked. I only need one of them. In fact, I almost thought it was a pricing mistake how low they had this one listed. Because they actually had 2 or 3 listings for what appeared to be the same single board computer at different price points. MacEffect says for bulky items, local pickup is awesome. Lol. Yeah. It would be just a bit far from me. But, actually, MacEffects would probably have a really good guess what I ordered, because it's for a Mac. In fact, I'll spill the beans. It's an inner frame for an SE or SE30, because I have an SE that has a slightly rusty frame, and they listed one, and it was at the right price, so I just bought one. Like, maybe I can fix the rust, but if I can't, well, I have a whole spare frame. No, actually, believe it or not, my SE was not battery bombed, or at least if it was, someone a long time ago swapped motherboards, because the motherboard had already had the battery removed, and although the motherboard had some rust on it, it was along where the rails meet the logic board. It looks like it might have had water intrusion, because the rust is mostly along the bottom of the frame, But the floppy drive also was pretty badly rusted, so I'm probably going to replace it. Anyways, we have yet another single board computer. This one's from Lake Michigan Computers. Again, I think I paid somewhere around $30 for it. And this one is a Core 2 Quad single board computer. So this one does have the video chip, because I think it's onboard graphics. It has 4 gigabytes of RAM. And yes, this time I can say gigabytes. 4 gigabytes of RAM. It's a Core 2 Quad 9500 processor, I believe. And it is still a PicMig single board computer. And it has the USB bracket and the serial and parallel bracket. Plus, on the back plane, there's our serial. It has onboard Ethernet, VGA, and there's our keyboard and mouse. This is an Advantech single board computer. So there's our keyboard connector for the Advantech backplane. Yeah. Anyways, it was like $30, and it's a Core 2 Quad 9500. I couldn't say no. This, it would be nice to have just a Core 2 Quad I can throw in a backplane and use. So for sure, this one will be for like Windows XP, or maybe even Windows 7 at that point. But yeah. And yeah, this is quite substantial. So this the single board computer even has a bracket on the back to help hold it because of the size of the fan. So yeah, Jesse says the thing with Michigan is it could be lower or upper. That could be a significant distance difference. Yes. Yes, it could also affect your ability to drive to the destination in a closer to an as the crow flies way. The lake does kind of pose a driving hazard for as the crow flies flying or driving. All right, I gotta go grab some more boxes. And don't worry, Jesse. You're probably wondering when I'm going to get to the items that viewers have sent. Because if you're wondering, yes, it was delivered today too. But I'm going to get through the rest of the potential eBay regrets. I have to go to my chariot of... It has wheels, because that's where the rest of the box is. One of these boxes is going to be a hint for an upcoming project. For at least one viewer. Oh, Jesse says that, especially for me, the nearest point to the Upper Peninsula is 65 miles. Lower Michigan, far more than 65, yeah. Or in the case of a bread my dad really likes, 116 miles one way. Gutbomb says, if that's a Vic 20. Oh, Gutbomb, I don't think I could do that to you. Yeah, actually, sure I could. We'll maybe say another project. All right, so this box comes to us from an eBay seller in, oh, what do you know, Wisconsin. So hi to all my eBay sellers and viewers in Wisconsin. Oh, they double boxed it. That's nice. All right. Let's see here. I'm trying to think of what this is. Because I know which box has the clue in it. And I know this is not the related item that I'm only going to admit to it being related if someone guesses. Oh, let's see here. We have plastic bag packaging. We have bubble wrap. And we have yet another box. What in the world did I buy that deserved to be packaged so well? And I'm beginning to wonder if this is actually channel related at this point. All right. Gutbump says, am I going to be mad about this one? Am I barking up the wrong tree? Oh, now I know what this is. Okay. Well, yeah, yes, Gutbomb, I think you've identified the project. But this is not for that project. This is going to be filed under I might definitely regret this purchase. It is supposed to be tested, but I still might regret this purchase. I bought another one of those stupid drives. All right. Yes, we have a TIAC FD505. Oh, hi, Frogman. Welcome. Yes, we have a combo drive. It supposedly works. We will test it later once I have a computer on the bench I can test it with. It does not have a broken PCB. It supposedly works. You better believe I'll be returning it if it doesn't, because the seller said they tested it. All right, the next item we have comes to us from an eBay seller in Virginia. I could have probably almost gone to pick this one up, but I would have paid more in gas than the shipping price, so I did not. Capom says, every time I've gotten one of those drives, they've been borked. Sylvester says, another, geez, man, leave some for the rest of us. Sylvester's doubt. Yeah. Actually, the funny thing is, I was watching a couple of those drives. And, interestingly enough, that was actually the lowest price of the one I was watching, and the others sold first, so maybe the other eBay buyers saw something I didn't, but anyways. All right, we have probably my most questionable purchase yet for a certain project. We have a Mad Dog floppy drive. Gutbump says, there we go. Yes. Oh. Well, that's interesting. It looks like this was bought at some sort of consignment shop or something. But this originally cost 40... All right. Joe's asking, how can a warranty be dominating? I don't know, but I did recently find that Mad Dog has a LinkedIn page, and now I thought that said $49.99, but apparently it was $19.99. Joe says, we sold floppy drives for like $19 back in the day, in the hundreds. Oh, $19, I see it now, yeah. Gutbomb says, Mad Dog was one of the CompUSA contracted brands, I think, yes. Dominating 2-year warranty. I think they're going as twice as long as Sony or iMation. Now, I'd be curious to know if they were in business long enough to have actually Oh, yeah, 2004 copyright. Okay, someone might have still been able to get the warranty. Anyways, RetroTech Chris says, that's a lot of marketing for a floppy drive. MacEffect says, you could buy a whole house for $19.99. Yes, actually, I found the archived Mad Dog multimedia webpage. And yes, CompUSA was one of the places you could buy them. Actually, let me pull up the archive.org page. I found their where to buy list was kind of funny. All right. Archive.org. Let's see here. Their website at the end was mdmm.com, I believe. For Mad Dog Multimedia. Let's see, I think I want to go to about 2008-ish. Let's see here if this is the correct website. Oh, yep, this is it. Where to buy. All right. So where could you buy these Mad Dog products with their dominating warranty? All right, let me share my screen here. You could definitely tell that they were definitely a brand trying to cater to the US market with this list of retailers, but you could buy them at Circuit City, Radio Shack, CompUSA, AAFES, which is the Army and Air Force Exchange Service, Nex for the Navy Exchange, Micro Center, still in business. Unlike a lot of these brands. Yeah, the Army and Air Force Exchange is still in business. Nex is still in business. Micro Center is still in business. Some of these other brands I don't know about. J&R. I'm going to skip that one. American. DataVision. PC Richard & Son. Office Depot Canada. J&R again. Don't know why they list it twice. Mayhair. Sam's Club. Walmart. And Nebraska Furniture Mart. Go buy your furniture and Mad Dog peripherals at Nebraska Furniture Mart. Chris, yeah, that's a lot of marketing for a floppy drive. Sadback says, oh, okay, gotcha. I just never really come across the brand before. Chris is commenting on Sure Right Technology. Multimedia floppy disk drive. Got it. Francois says, oh, hi, Francois. Nobody calls me Mad Dog Tannen. Chris is laughing. Ha! Nebraska Furniture Mart. That is a place to visit. Yeah, Sylvester, I noticed JR's there twice. Frogman says, what? No Computer City? Yeah, Circuit City, yep. Oh, yeah, that's Circuit City. Gupum says American is American Furniture Warehouse, a Denver-based furniture chain that has wild animals like lions and stuff resting on furniture in the commercials. Oh, I was having trouble telling what their full name was. Sadmax says Circuit City, where I was first introduced to the Professor Layton and Pokemon Ranger games. Stian, oh, hi, Stian. There are still a couple Radio Shacks in Alaska. One is combined with a pizzeria. All right, I had to share that because I was trying to do a little research on what Mad Dog did and did not sell, and came across there where you could buy it list, and Nebraska Furniture Mart, I just about cracked up laughing. All right, so this, I believe, is going to be the third and final single board computer of the night. This one's from that seller in California. I believe this is the one that I think this is the one they told me they would take $30 for. Because the one that they had accidentally underpriced was that Socket 7 one. Now that I think about it. Because I was looking at it, and I liked the fact it had no onboard video. And I'm pretty sure that's the one I just snagged. This is the one I think they took my offer for. I kind of get the impression that maybe they were trying to sell their stock. Ah, yes. So we have another Advantech single board computer. This one is a... Ah, yes. It is another socket 7 single board computer. It does have onboard video. It is the Chips and Technologies video chip. And this one... Oh, yeah. It's just a standard Intel Pentium 166. Wait a minute. Is this... But it had the keyboard connect cable. And yeah. Sylvester says another. Geez, man, leave some for the rest of us. Yeah. Ian says that fan just doesn't look like it belongs. Yeah. It's one of these fans that you kind of have to twist it down to tighten. And yeah, it was slipping off. RetroTech Chris says, slots to expand the video memory too. Yeah, I noticed that. Jesse says, the city raised our Radio Shack because the power company wanted the property. Ah. Bummer. All right. Just checking something here real quick. Oh! Oh, yeah. I just realized something. This is not the single board computer I actually bought, which is why I was kind of slightly confused as to... Yeah, I actually bought a... it was actually supposed to be a Socket 370 single board computer. Ha! Ah! That's why I was kind of dumbfounded when I opened it, even though I was pretending it's the one I bought. Because I was doubting my brain when my brain was telling me, no, you bought a Socket 370 one. Yeah, looks like the seller sent me the wrong single board computer. Huh. Which might mean that someone else got the Socket 370 one. Yeah, hold on. I'm going to just look. Searching his eBay store. Oh, yep. I bet that's what happened. Because that Socket 370, the other Socket 7 one is no longer for sale in his web store, so I bet he got two orders mixed up. So or the Socket 370 is still sitting on the seller's desk. Goodness, the seller is 3 for 3. Well, actually, I only bought 2 single board computers from the seller, and the seller's 1 for 2. They tried to get me to buy this one as well, but I didn't need 2 single board computers of the same model. All right, well, I will have to reach out to the seller and let them know that I received the socket 7 board instead of the socket 370 board. And we'll probably just... Yeah, all right, that'll be a fun email. Well, at least I've got this note here that's in their handwriting. So, well, I guess this is the one thing we do on Wheel of Regrets is go to purchases, and I'm going to reach out to the seller and let them know that all right, let me take a photo. All right, I'm going to take a photo of the socket 7 single board computer. Luckily, it's different than the one I actually purchased, so... Alright, I'm going to actually usually take photos of all sides of the board. They're probably going to have me return the wrong one, but I'm not going to try to request the return while I'm on a live stream. I'm just going to send them a quick email letting them know that, hey, I received the wrong full board computer. Instead of the socket 371, I received the other socket 7 single board computer. Copy to my email. All right. Message sent. If I get a reply back from the seller, I will let you all know, because that is not the correct single board computer. Yeah. Sylvester says, they shipped you the socket 7, still yet to ship the socket 3 and the socket 0. Oh, Chris is saying 3 for 3. Wrong price, wrong shipping, wrong product. Yeah. Ian says, this is the reason why I don't sell stuff on eBay. I imagined I'd get stuff mixed up. Yeah, seriously. Now we have to find something else to have fun with tonight. Oh, we weren't going to test the single board computers. We were just opening the potential regrets. And, well, we have the first regret. I regret buying the socket 370 single board computer because I did not receive the socket 370 single board computer. And it looks like it might have gone to another buyer, or the seller decided to see if I would notice. Handy for me, they sent me a post-it note in their writing, so... It also happens to match another one of their listings, even if it's sold. I'm pretty sure eBay could find it. All right, the last potential regret comes to us from an eBay seller in Washington State. So hi to all my sellers and viewers in Washington. Oh. Steven says, don't worry, it was a new bus video card, not a single board computer. Oh. Oh, Steven says, you're making me want to go open the board I just ordered. Oh, yeah. Gutbomb says, please be a VIC 20. Well, Gutbomb, if this was a VIC 20, well, it would cause it. Well, you'll see. I don't need to make much comments. There was one comment I made previously that was directed at you, because you'd probably be the only one that would realize it. So I'd been watching this auction for a while, and oh good, the backplate is in there. I was worried they would not remember to include the backplate. Oh good, they put a rubber band around it. So we have what might be one of the newest motherboards I would, well, feature on my channel. We have a Soyo Dragon Plus. Soyo KT600 Dragon Plus motherboard. Look at the color of those slots, Gupum says. Purple sockets, that means power. Mega says purple. Hi, Mega. Yes, so this is a socket 462 motherboard with the backplate. It has AGP. It has what I think are polymer caps. At least I hope they're polymer. They do look like they're maybe a different cap than normal. It might just be standard electrolytic, and I might find out later that it might have to be replaced at some point. But yes, I think this motherboard will work nice for a project. Ian says, is it bent? There is like a minor bend in the board. But it's nothing I'm too concerned about, because I think a lot of these boards had minor bends in them from the factory just because of the sheer number of through-hole parts on one side and then surface mounts on the other. Oh, it's socket 462. Stian says, could be the camera angle. I mean, I think it has a very, very minor bend to the board, which I'm not surprised, so I'm not worried. Catbomb's asking, is this a Mad Dog candidate? Maybe. The fact that this supports the 400 megahertz frontside bus, this just might be, Catbomb. Because if you go to the archived Mad Dog website, you'll notice Mad Dog did not make motherboards. Or cases, for that matter. Or hard drives. Okay, technically they didn't make the floppy drive either. It's an NEC floppy drive, but they branded it. Oh, no, it's socket A. It's socket 462. The reason I'm going with socket 462 is because of the heatsink. Yes, I don't know if buying a platform based on the heatsink is the right choice, but in this case, it was a necessary choice. Yeah, Sylvester says, oh wow, I've never seen them stamped socket 462 before. Yeah. Yeah, Gupbomb knows exactly why I had to buy a motherboard based on a heatsink. Gupbomb says, I'm the Mad Dog watchdog, yes. So anyways, set this motherboard to the side, because now that concludes Wheel of Regrets. And now I got to go grab the box. We got to open the things viewers have sent me. Although I will say there is an item I'm not opening tonight. It's not that bad. I'm not opening that tonight either. But there we go. It's that right there. I'm saving that one. Retro Fox is asking, what's the Atari ST stuff shipping thing? Oh! Gupbum says, is that large box what I think it is? It probably is. It is. I think you got it. Retro Fox, welcome. All right, the Atari ST. I bought an Atari ST from Canada. Because Trina had found an Atari ST on Marketplace at a really reasonable price. So it is an Atari ST 520. A metric Atari. Yes, it's a metric Atari, yes. So it is an Atari ST 520 with the monitor. I think that's the Atari ST 1040 or something like that. And the Mega File. And it works. It all works. Seller, Trina saw it working. Seller powered it up and showed it. It boots and works and everything. The Mega File works and everything. Retro Fox says, "Oh no, I wish I knew when you folks wanted certain things." Ian says, "Oh, please don't ship the monitor. That will end in tears." Well, it is too late for not shipping the monitor. Bum says, ST520 in metric is ST312 in imperial. Anyways, so only drawback with buying things in Canada is then they have to be shipped from Canada. So the shipping for Atari 5 ST stuff, that's what it cost me in shipping to ship it all. It ended up having to go in a total of 4 boxes. And actually, RetroFox, if it makes you feel better, I had actually already bought it before VCF East. In fact, I think I bought it, we actually bought the Atari back in March. Yeah, I hope the monitor survives too. I also hope the Mega File survives. Anyways, it got packed into 4 boxes. Gutbomb says, I saw the box Trina used for the monitor. I didn't realize that was for you. I'd be concerned. Well, c'est la vie. We'll hope it survives. Anyways, that's the, Ian says, there's no amount of packaging that will stop the weight of a heavy CRT from tearing at fragile plastic mounts. RetroFox says, yeah, well, the Mega File is uncommon to find and a working monitor, but maybe he could have hooked you up with a 520. Gutbomb says, or maybe cautiously optimistic. Yes. Anyways, yeah, that's the, so yeah, my coffee goal is to pay my wallet back for some of the shipping. I don't expect I'll hit the goal. The goal is basically what I paid for shipping. It also kind of probably means I have to admit I'm second guessing going to the swap meet in June because, yeah, I don't know what I'm going to buy there because I've, like, other than Tom Barber has an iMac for me for $25. Richard Fox says, you have to come. All right, I may still come. It's just the motel room's like $180. Gutbump says, you don't have to buy. You have tons of VIC-20s to sell. Ha ha. I don't have enough VIC-20s to pay for the trip. That's the problem. I mean, I have, sure. RetroTech Chris says, I missed it. Where are you going? New Jersey? Or where? Chris says, I missed it. Where are we going? New Jersey. Yeah, Chris, I was going to drive up to the VCF swap meet. Gutbump says, bedazzle the VIC-20s to increase their value. I mean, I think there might still be time to get a vendor table. I guess there's always a chance I might still have some things to try to sell instead of try to buy, but yeah, I'm gonna drive up the Friday before and stay overnight. Newer ham radio Elmer says, if it's not going to pay, don't go. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. And hi, Elmer. RetroTech Chris says, if I go to the swap meet, I am leaving things there. Gutbump says, gather around, folks, to see the wonders of regret available at Justin's table. Mega says, paint them with glitter. Chris says, I have that case of yours here. Yes, I know. We'll see. Maybe I might have some things to sell there are at least 2 weekends before then. Maybe I can make the trip pay for itself. So, who knows? Well, I guess if you see me there as a vendor, then you know that I managed to sort through stuff enough to try to sell stuff. Let's see here. Vendor setup. Just looking to make sure. Oh, click here for vendor registration. Okay, well, I guess vendor registration is apparently still open. First space is $20. You can park in your space and sell out of your vehicle and or set up a table up in the space near your vehicle. Tables available for rent at $5 a piece. Not if they're the same tables they had at VCF East. Retro Fox says, you might have to come visit if you're staying overnight. I might have to. I was also thinking of going to Silverball. Chris says, Silverball sub shop. Let's see, what else? Yeah. So anyways, oh, let me go get this item before we run out of time. Because I got PCs to put back together. But alright, so this package is not from eBay. This is a very gracious donation from Jesse, aka I8386SX. So thank you, Jesse. We have a box here. So I believe, well, I know what's in this box. You all might not, but oh, Retrofox says there's also Yestercades. They have pinball, but more arcades. Oh, neat. Anyways, Jesse recently went to a sale. And I had asked him about a computer that was at this sale previously, and Jesse told me, well, he's like, I suspect it's already sold, but if he still has it, then I'm going to buy it for you. And, well, by the fact that I have a box here from Jesse, and it has a PC in it, I believe that was the case. It was still there. Ooh, all right. Oh, I just knocked my water on the floor. Luckily, I leave my cap on it when I'm not drinking it because I'm a klutz. All right. All right, so don't worry. The computer was upside down because I opened the box upside down. And, oh, Jesse says, this is a different machine than previously talked about. The original one was not there anymore. Oh, okay. Well, it's still appreciated. So anyways, it is one that I don't have, but we have an Emerson 8286 ECV. Look at this, and it's not posting. Oh, these are my favorite type. The ones where it's not posting. That means I get to do actual work. The other computer that I'd asked about also was an Emerson computer, so that's why I thought it was the same computer. Jesse says, I do have higher hopes for this one. Mega says, huh, my microwave is an Emerson. Retro Fox says, nice. So we have an Emerson. Oh, and I do notice one thing right off the bat. Actually, I noticed a few things right off the bat. All right, so let's, all right, so let's zoom in. So first of all, I'm going to break the internet because there's no window on that chip. Although the actual likelihood of that chip getting erased in the short time I've had the case top off is like next to nil. If the chip is corrupted, it was probably already corrupted before I got the machine. So, but again, because I don't like breaking the internet. All right, there we go. First problem solved. Retro Fox says, oh no, the cosmic rays can get in. All right, the second thing I notice is there's no Sims installed, but this computer may have onboard RAM. Actually, no, I do not believe it has onboard RAM, because that's going to be video RAM for the Paradise video chip, I believe. That would have been the onboard RAM there. So there is no RAM. Oh, and the Dallas chip has been modded. A 9-volt battery. That's a first. Oh, yeah, because these RAM chips by the video are 41464, so that's going to be the 256K of RAM for the VGA chip. We do have a Harris 16 megabyte CPU. And all right. Let's, as Retro Fox says, we'll fire it up. All right. Well, let's see what we got here. So let me plug video. Let me plug power. If I can find my power cable. And let me plug a postcard into it. Well, actually, the postcard won't be of much help because it'll be upside down. Let me install some memory, because I'm pretty sure there's no onboard memory. Jesse says, I did not fire it up. I bought this one. No questions asked, other than asking for slightly less than sticker price. All right. All right. So these are plastic clips. I am going to be very careful with them. So this should be 2 megabytes of RAM. I'm fairly sure it works because it was in... Oh, you can't see it. This is RAM that was in the 486 DLC computer before I swapped some 4 megabytes for the 1 megabytes. So, all right, we've got RAM. I probably should plug a postcard in, even though you won't be able to see it. I might be able to crane my neck to read it. Oh, wait a minute, no. Actually, we will be able to see it. Yeah, because ISA cards go this way. Excellent. Okay, we're good. All right. And, oh, hold on. My smart outlet is not behaving. So I probably need to power cycle it. We're going to manually. Oh, and we have power. And no post. Jesse says, and if you want to see the deck digital system I bought from the same sale, you'll have to see it at 6 p.m. Central Time Thursday. Oh, wait a minute. There's a loose screw. All right, do we have any more? Checking things. I may have RAM in the wrong bank. Okay, I don't think I got... maybe I've got RAM in the wrong bank. All right, hold please. Maybe I was supposed to put the Sims in the first slot. Actually, what I should maybe do is see if I can't find this board on the retro web. Then I can check jumpers. All right. Actually, there is something else that's bothering me here. Yeah, here we go. I've got 3 computers that need to be reassembled, and here I am trying to fix a 4th. That would be true Justin fashion. Well, so be it. I can always change the thumbnail and description of the stream if we end up spending time on this, because I think we can get it fixed. Anyways, one thing that's bothering me here is this Dallas chip mod has a 9-volt battery lead on it. I'm kind of wondering if this Dallas chip might be dead. These Emerson computers, I've noticed they generally don't like to power up with that out of Dallas chip. So I'm going to put this one in. This is one that I think the Big Bad Biologist modded. No, I will not be putting it in. It doesn't fit. They overclocked the Dallas chip, says RetroTech Chris. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. All right. Hold on. I got a GlitchWorks module somewhere. Actually, let me see what it does without the Dallas chip installed. Okay, the board does come out of reset. All right. Oh, you know, maybe I should just do a few simple checks here. Let's check voltages. And if this still doesn't work, I'll go find where I've got my Dallas chip. I think it's in that Dell that RetroTech Chris gave me. All right. Because I like, for these older systems, I like to start with the Glitchworks module because it's generally a little bit more compatible with stubborn systems. All right. So we do have 5 volts. And we have negative 5 volts. All right. And I think that is, let's see, that's 5 volts. I think that's power good, actually. And that's 5 volts. Let's see here. There, we got 12 volts. And negative 12 volts. All right, so we do have voltages. Let me check a few things first. All right. For now, I'm going to assume the Dallas chip is fine. Maybe they had this hooked up to a battery pack that was less than 9 volts. I think I'm going to start with the ROMs. Because they both lost their original labels. So either they've lost their original labels or these are replacement ROMs. And the reason I'm going to check them is if they are replacement ROMs or even the original ROMs, if they got put in backwards, then this board would never post. Therefore, I'm going to try to read the ROMs. All right, so these are going to be 27C512s. Actually, those are 27C512. Let's see here. That is a Signetics. All right. I don't have this manufacturer in the software, so I'm just going to use the AMD and reload it. Jesse says, Radio Shack did sell a lot of undervoltaged packs that hooked to 9-volt terminals. All right, I bet that's probably what was used. All right. Okay, so I do see at the top of this ROM, copyright 1985 to 1989, Phoenix Technologies Limited. So this is 1/2 of a ROM. I do not know which half it is, reading it right offhand. So I'm going to... I want to save it somewhere where I'll actually be able to find it. Let's see, downloads. All right, I'm going to call this Emerson 8286 ECV U17. All right. So let me clear the buffer. I'm going to read the other chip. One good thing would be if it has a complete copyright message at the beginning. And then actually one thing I may try is I may try swapping these ROMs. Copyright 1985 to 1989, Phoenix Technologies Limited. Excellent. So if you ever wonder why, if you look at one of these ROM chips, it looks like the ROM is like doubles the letters at the beginning. It's so if it's in multiple ROM chips, there's still an intact copyright message at the beginning. Mega says, the RetroWeb Discord has a BIOS ROM checker bot. Yes, it does. Now, can it check a pair of ROM files if I just give it both ROM files? Or do I need to know which order it's in? Well, or then again, you know, I could just like give the ROM checker bot both files and see what it says. Yeah, let's all right. Oops. Well, it told me about U18. So U18.bin. I thought I uploaded both. I only see the results for one file. Oh, hi, Mega. I see Mega's in the Discord. So it is telling me Vendor Phoenix version 286 plus 3.1. Sign on Emerson Technologies. Metadata ID 8286 ROM BIOS plus version 3.1002. ROM interleaved. VGA, yes. Phoenix Advanced Video BIOS version. Nice. All right. At least one of the files looks... Capcom says that TBD for Thursday is going to end up being the floppy drives, isn't it? Probably, even though I was thinking of doing the 2SI, I would like to get my PCs back together to make a little bit of room first. All right, so what I'm going to do, just because I'm not totally convinced the ROMs are in the correct order. Oh, first, I'm going to deoxit those sockets, even though this is not deoxit, it's WD-40 Specialist Contact Cleaner. Capcom says, hey, talk to me offline about the 2SI. I have a 2SI video coming up, and maybe we could do a collab a little. Yeah, okay. Will do. Okay, so I am going to purposely put the ROMs in the other way. Since the labels fell off, I'm working under the assumption that maybe someone put them in backwards. I mean, that would definitely keep a system from posting. All right. All right, that's probably not it. Okay. Oh, wait, I still have a good amount of contact cleaner on the board. Okay, that's probably not it. If I had a tool that can join the ROMs back up, I would put them together and then run the ROM checker again to have it run the checksum. Okay. let's put the slot. All right. Next thing I'm tempted to try is to take a coin cell battery. Hold it to the 9-volt battery terminals such that positive touches positive and negative touches negative, and I don't know which is which on this holder. That's not convenient. All right, I'm going to have to find 9-volt battery. Only so I can try to look at the polarity markings on it. Okay, so the positive is the hold, please. I have a 9-volt battery. I just can't see which. I see which is the positive terminal, but I can't see if it's the small terminal. Okay. All right. So positive. So the positive on this battery holder is going to be that one. All right. There we go. Now, okay, I'm not sure it's because the Dallas chip has no power. All right. All right, let's get the thermal camera out. Let me see if I see any chips getting hot. Okay, I see. I do not see the Sims getting warm. There's a little component on the board that's getting about 40 degrees. The processor's about 40 degrees Celsius. The video RAMs appear to be getting warm. I can feel the RAM DAC's warm. Okay, I don't see anything abnormally hot. I don't see any tantalum capacitors that are about to go thermonuclear. Oh, that's a screw reflector. All right. All right. I'm gonna spray some contact cleaner into the CPU socket. And while I let that soak in, I'm going to see if I can find this board on the retro web. Good night, Francois. All right, so let's go open up the retro web. Go to motherboards. I will share my screen. All right, we are going to go to advanced search because I am not sure this board is in there as its Emerson part number. Although I guess that would be the first thing to look. Let's just okay. Let's see if someone happened to have uploaded it since I last looked. All right, it's definitely not a 500 EC, and I can tell that's one of my pictures. I think that's actually one of my boards too, right there. Let's see here. Northgate Computer Systems Omni Station. Oh, wait, it's this one here. Okay, interestingly enough, I think this one, and this one, they're all three my pictures. So it looks like I need to upload a picture of this one too to complete the set. There it is, Emerson 8286 ECV. Excellent. All right, are there BIOS? Oh, good. There is a BIOS. Let me download that. I'll. Oh no, it's one file, not two. All right, I'll have to join the files. Oh, good. Someone's uploaded the EMS driver for this board. Excellent. All right, let's take a look at the jumper. We'll check the jumper settings. Hi, Ryan Labs. Welcome. Hi, Dave. Welcome. Yeah, we're looking at a computer that Jesse sent me. All right, so we have at EX1, we have the proprietary expansion card. Bus mouse port at J4. I think it's actually just PS2. Although it could be it could be a bus mouse. No, it's PS2. Okay. Keyboard's PS2 as well. Reset switch is J6. Which actually is... Oh, that is connected. Excellent. I should maybe try pressing the reset switch and see if that awakens it from its slumber. All right. Let's see what the jumper settings are. All right, so the DRAM configs are... So 2 megabytes, which is, I think, what I have installed. And I do have it in bank 0, so that should be fine. And it is parity RAM in case it matters. All right, so let's check these jumpers here. So W3 needs to be 2 and 3. All right, that's by the power connector. The W2 should be 1 and 2. It is. W3 is 2 and 3. That is correct. So W4 should be pins 2 and 3 for floppy interface enabled. I'll deal with that. Okay, so W4 is 2 and 3. W5Z is... I have no idea where that jumper is. I will find it. That may be a typo. It may just supposed to be W5. Okay, W5 is 1 and 2. Okay. Let's see here. W9 doesn't matter. W11 should be 2 and 3. Oh, but it is not. All right. W11 is now 2 and 3. So that'll enable the onboard VGA. I doubt that's why it won't post, but you never know. So W12 should be 2 and 3. That's the hard drive LED enable. That is interesting that there's an enable for the LED. W15 should be 1 and 2. Good old. Oh, interesting. W15 is a W15 is marked as factory configured do not alter, and someone's altered it. So I don't know what it actually does, but I'm going to move it back to its factory default setting. I should check the other factory jumpers. There we go. W15 is now 1 and 2. All right, so W16 should be closed. I doubt that's causing a no post, but that is for the mouse. Okay, that is closed. And W17 should be open. That's another one of the factory configured do not alter. So W17 is open. All right. All right. I think maybe I'll unplug these cables. Just get a better look at. Ron Lab says 2 386s had both with battery corrosion, both CPUs dead. Bummer. Here, need to upload this motherboard to the RetroWeb. Yes, I will supply information on this board as I can figure it out. W9 is set to 6 megahertz floating point. Well, shouldn't matter. No, there's a chance it doesn't like this RAM. All right, let me. All right, this is just some random RAM I have. Most PCs are okay with 3-chip RAM. It is possible. This is one of the exceptions to the rule. So let me. All right. Let me see if I can find some RAM. Probably not going to find it in that box. All right, let me go to my box of RAM. See if I can find some 1 megabyte 9-chip Sims. All right. Let's see what I can find here. I think that's a Macintosh video. All right. Those are 72 pins. Dims. Oh, those are 4 megabyte by 9 pin, or 9 chip, not 9 pin, 9 chip. Here are some 5 chip Sims. I might try those. I think those are 1 megabyte. Oh, here we go. I think here's some, those are some 256K Sims. I don't know that it's a memory problem right now, but I figured I would. I figured it couldn't hurt to carefully try some different RAM. So I know these are 3 chip, but these work with. Mega's asking, it would do the no memory beep if it had no memory, right? Not necessarily. 286's, this 286 may predate when you would get a no memory beep. Because that's going to require the chipset to be smart enough to. Hey, I got another idea here. I have a diagnostic card. Last time I tried to use it, it didn't work. I might try to use it now, and it might still not work. But it might give me a bit more information about signals on the system. All right. All right, so I think this is set for VGA. Okay. Well, that's a good thing. It's not incessantly beeping. I don't have the manual for this card, so... Oh, you know, this card might require some memory in the system. That might help. This card may not be jumpered right. Okay, I'm going to have to find the manual for the card, but at least it's not incessantly beeping. Oh wait, the card has no speaker. Okay. I would almost be tempted to flip the ROMs around again, now that I've tried some different RAM. I think someone put the ROMs in backwards at some point. Alright. The ROMs were currently in the way that they were when I got the system. I'm going to flip them around in case someone at some point got them backwards. Because backwards ROMs would cause the system not to be able to post. Alright. Alright. I should put a postcard in case I got... Okay, don't think the ROMs are in backwards. They probably are now. me check a few things that I probably should have checked earlier. So we had proper voltages. And I would totally expect that voltages would not be proper if we had a short. But I'm just going to double check. These are the common pins. Okay, no shorts. Maybe let's disable the floppy interface. So that's W4 be 1 and 2. I'm on. I should put this W15 back the way it was. It was on 2 and 3. All right, W4, I'm going to put to 1 and 2. That'll disable the floppy. All right. And I'm going to disable the onboard VGA, so that'll be W11 as should be go to pins 1 and 2. Okay. Then I'm going to notice how dusty dirty this socket is. Try to find my PLCC chip lifter. And realize that I don't have it handy. And I'll just spray some contact cleaner down in there. And I'll just spray contact cleaner into the rest of the chip sockets. Including the processor again. Alright. Alright. You know, maybe I should deoxit the RAM slots too. They look pretty good. Alright. Alright. So now I'm going to put this factory configured jumper back to 1 and 2. Still leaving VGA and floppy interface disabled. All right. Okay, I'm gonna do something maybe I should have done sooner, but let's pull the motherboard out and double check the underside. Maybe we'll find a broken trace or something. Well, if I can find my screwdriver. There it is. Right. So this motherboard appears to use a... There is a chip that says Faraday on it, but a lot of the chips say Western Digital. I'm kind of thinking this might be a Western Digital chipset. I actually have a 286 with a Western Digital chipset that I've never been able to get to run. Hopefully this will be the first. All right. And to my surprise, actually not, you have to remove all of the nuts on the rear ports to get the motherboard out. Later motherboards would be designed such that the cutouts would allow the nuts to pass through the case because they realized that no one, not even their authorized repair techs, has time to unscrew 40 bazillion port nuts to service the thing. Yes, we have video, parallel, and 2 serial ports. Quite a nice complement of ports. And here we are, it is 1016 and there we go. All right, motherboard is free. Oh. The black and white wire coming from the front panel is the reset button. Oh, I may have to remove the... There we go. Nope, do not have to remove the drive cage, just have to navigate the board correctly. Alright, so the bottom side of the board. Looks okay. Mike says, I have a stack of floppy drives from 30 years of collecting. I wonder if any still work. Well, some probably do. Alright. is the point of the stream where I wish I had a spare CPU. I would almost be tempted to say that maybe the CPU is bad, but I don't have a spare 286 CPU. Because a lot of them just got soldered, so I'm going to clean the dust off this board to see if I see any signs of damage. This is an anti-static brush. It's really not that dirty, so Oh, there we got a date. January of 1990. Alright, well, I don't see any obvious signs of damage on the board. We're just going to double check the jumpers here again real quick. Here's jumper W5Z. Oh, it's W5. It's a typo. Okay. Alright. Okay, I think this is where I'm going to say that this computer needs a probably more in-depth repair slash troubleshooting when I actually have room on my bench to upgrade and close my oscilloscope back up. See, I think ideally to troubleshoot this, I need to probe some signals to see if there's any activity at the processor and the ROM chips. Because all I can see with the postcard is it comes at a reset, and then there's no postcodes. Unless it's this Dallas chip. Time for a bench cleaning party. That's right, Mike. Which is why I was going to put these computers back together. That was the original point of the stream, because they're part of the problem as to why I haven't cleaned my bench, is because I've got parts for them. Some of their parts is why I haven't cleaned my bench, because, yeah, reasons. There were, like, seemingly 2 other things I could try here real quick, though, if I can find something to set this board on. Alright. There we go. The board is now propped up off the case, because what I'm going to try... Oh, wait. You know, there was something I noticed about my XG tester thing. Oh, okay. It cannot test the real-time clocks. It can test some of the static RAM chips from Dallas, but alright, the clock chips aren't one of them. Alright. So, what I was going to do is... Alright, let me see if I can... Where did I put that computer? I was going to try 2 things. One was I was going to put a different module in the board. Let me make sure the power leads can reach. Because if it was as simple as that modded Dallas chip is not working. Some of these boards do require the module to be there to work. Although usually they'll start the post. Alright. Oh, there was one thing. Okay, so without the module installed, it's doing nothing. There was another thing I wanted to try. I wanted to try the reset button. Okay. Wait a minute. I thought I heard a sound. Okay, maybe I did not hear a sound. Okay, my imagination. Oh, that must have been me. Oh, it must have been the metal case. Okay. Okay. Let me try another Dallas module, one that I know didn't accidentally get 9 volts power. Oh, nope, that one does not fit. Not even. Not even a good enough fit for temporary without the riser card. Because it can't push it down all the way. Alright. Let me go find a Dallas module. I'm trying to see if I see a board with one on it that I'm not using it. Yes. Looks like. Looks like I need to try to order clock chips to make some more boards. Clock chips and crystals. I think I have a few PCBs. They, oh, there we go. I have an Echo module right here. Next time I order these PCBs, I'll probably end up doing it from Osh Park so that I don't get surprised from extra charges. But they charge like $5 a square inch. Although for one of these boards, it's probably about $5. Okay, that is probably not it. Yep, it kind of appears as if there might be something wrong with the board. Hopefully it's just like maybe a cold solder joint or something like that, or maybe a chip that's out of the socket. Mike's asking, do you do any recapping on monitors? Have you worked on monitors? I need recap work done, and usually I can do most work, but CRT monitors are just above my pay grade. Ah, all right. Well, Mike, I have tried recapping some monitors, and so far I have successfully recapped 0 monitors. Although, in some cases, the problems with the monitors may have been more than just caps. one of the monitors I tried to recap had some serious trace damage. And another one of them had possible ICs bad and interestingly enough, I think swapping analog boards didn't fix that problem. Capom says, I've done some monitors and I'm somewhat near you. Yeah, shipping monitors, despite the fact that I am having a monitor shipped from Canada, and yes, that scares me. I don't like shipping monitors. Granted, that's usually because it's a monitor from eBay, and eBay sellers are famous for their wonderful packing jobs. I mean, if there were awards for eBay seller packing, then I'm sure lots of eBay sellers would win them. And note that I'm not necessarily saying what the award would be. They're not necessarily good awards. It might be more like the award that goes to the seller that single-handedly destroyed the most monitors this year, but yeah. Well, at the moment, I'm still planning on being at the swap meet. Even if my current swap meet budget for buying things is the iMac, the iMac that Tom Barber has for me for a quarter. I don't know. Maybe I'll sort some stuff out this weekend and actually bring some stuff to sell. Mike says it's a 12-inch Apple color monitor, 1296 or 1297. That would actually be one of the models of monitor I've tried to recap and failed. So, there's brutal honesty for you. In fact, I have one that I need to try to recap that I don't know if it'll fix the problem. It has a pink cast on it. Oh, Capom is telling Mike I'm not going to that swap meet. I'll be going to the later one in October-ish. All right, so once again, thank you, Jesse, for the Emerson PC. I am going to have to put it aside for some more troubleshooting when I can pull the oscilloscope out, because it seems like it's not posting at all, and I'm hoping it's something simple. I'm hoping it's something an oscilloscope might help show what it is. But let's see if we can't reassemble some of these computers that I picked up at the last swap meet so that they fit on my shelf, because I've found that disassembled computers like this don't fit on the shelf near as well as assembled computers. Yes, this is a disassembled computer. Ugh. Unfortunately, it will stay disassembled because the motherboard's a pain to put back in. All right. Set it there for now. Let's start with the Dell. Hi, Jack. Welcome. Alright, I don't normally plug my coffee link more than once a stream, but I guess given there is a swap meet coming up in a few weeks, and inevitably I will find things that I want. I will point out that my coffee link is in the description. And while the goal is for Atari stuff that I had to pay shipping for, well, yes, if I hadn't spent it on shipping, I would probably spend it at the swap meet. All right. Well, I'm not going without an idea of what I want to find, but the problem is the things I want to find are parts that I don't have like a specific list. It's more of I want to find parts to finish projects. Mike says I'm looking for Mac Centris stuff. I would like to finish projects. So if it's like a part for projects, and maybe I mean like things like RAM and hard drives and things like that. Actually, this case is quite dirty. Mike says, lol, that's always a good goal. Finish projects already on the bench. Yeah. Or finish projects that aren't on the bench, but are disassembled because I'm looking for parts. Yeah. You know, I don't think this dirt is coming off this case that easily, so I may have to try cleaning this at a time where I could go outside and clean it more intensively, because, yeah, the dirt is not. I.e., I may have to use a more abrasive cleaner and risk the texture of the case, because in fact, you can kind of see the dirt, and if you look at my paper towel, I mean, I'm getting stuff off of it, but some of this dirt is pretty baked in. Dave says, IBM 5155, fun project. Yes, actually, the IBM XTs are probably one of the projects I really would like to find some parts for. And this is always also a reminder that maybe I don't do it as much as I should. And there's actually someone that mentioned it on Discord or somewhere that's like, you know, maybe you should ask people for things you need. And this is the point where I point out that sometimes I don't know exactly what I need. Especially, it should probably tell you that my shopping list for the swap meet is parts to finish projects, and that's not like a specific list I could give you to let you know what I need. Other than you could figure out what I might still be working on by how live stream has ended. But I guess if there were a case where I could say, okay, here's a specific project I would like to finish. I have, I think, 2 IBM XTs, and I have an IBM 5155. And I would like to finish those, and I guess if you had any, like, IBM parts for the XT, maybe like a working 20 megabyte MFM hard drive, or even just the plastic bezel that IBM would have sold, or a full height IBM floppy drive. You wanted to contribute those. Okay, now I actually managed to identify some specific parts I'm looking for. So if you wanted to help the channel with some parts, there you go. I finally managed to identify some parts I could use that I really haven't wanted to buy on eBay because they're overpriced. Oh, well, at least the inside dust is coming off the case. So yes. I don't remember who told me that, maybe you should ask your viewers for things you're looking for. Well, there you go. The answer to that comment is, well, sometimes I don't know exactly what I'm looking for. I may just have this nebulous idea I would like to finish projects. I have too many projects to identify a specific one I want to finish. But I guess in this case, Dave mentioned the 5155, and yes, I would like to get the 5155 back together. That would be very nice, and I have 2 XTs along with it. So there you go. Okay, now that I cleaned that case off, the dust had a very interesting smell. I wonder if that was soot on that. I bet that's soot on that case. Mike's asking, has anyone else turned down eBay purchases because the shipping was unrealistic because of the seller greed when looking for CRT monitors? It's like, monitor, $75, shipping $150, or something like that. Yeah, I've not bought things because the shipping was too high. In some cases, it's totally on the seller. There are cases, though, where once I kind of think about it, I realize that, no, the seller's probably not the greedy party here. Maybe they are trying to use a box that's too big, but they are not the greedy party in all cases. Unfortunately, UPS dimensional weight shipping can get very expensive very quickly, depending on the size of the box and the zone that the item's in, and the zone that you're in. But yeah, if it's something that I think that also, I've noticed items, although I will say very rarely does this happen, but I've seen items where eBay's calculator on the search page showed the wrong number. If you actually go to the item, the actual realistic price shows up, but I've only seen that less than 1% of the time. Yeah, Stian says, yeah, Sadmax says, yep, yep, item, a reasonable price, shipping like $100+, and the seller wasn't willing to fix eBay's estimate. Stian says, oftentimes that's a tactic to appear cheaper than they actually are. eBay combats it now by showing prices, including shipping. Mike says, monitors and a Mac Pro, I can get costly depending on distance, weight, and dimensions, but some are blatantly greedy. Most times when it's a set shipping price. Yes. Stian says, I've seen that too, and sometimes that's because the seller deliberately manipulates that number. Jesse says, $150 to ship a laptop was my most recent outrageous find. It was an HP ProBook. I did find a seller that had an item that I thought the shipping was too high, and although luckily in this case, turns out the seller had put the wrong dimensions for the box. But I found another item that was about the same size that had a lower cost, so I reached out to the seller and asked about it, and they said, yeah, totally. I see the mistake in our listing. I'll refund you the difference because I got an active offer on the item. Little did they know, I was the person with the active offer on the item. And I was asking because I was interested in the item, but the shipping was a bit high. So once they told me that, I paid for the item. I added a note just to document on the sales transaction of actual shipping is this amount per our discussion. And like within a minute or two of them generating the shipping label, they refunded the shipping. So it was cool. Jack says, I've had sellers cancel orders when they realized their shipping cost was too low. Which, for a, quote, haunted doll, end quote, that's ridiculous. Mike says, anyone else watch an item just to see if anyone else buys it because of the insane total cost? Nah, most of the time, no. I don't want them to think I'm interested in the item. But to Jack's point, though, and you don't have to watch an item to get a ridiculous offer on an item. But yeah, Jack says, also for 5% off offer on that outrageous price. Yeah. If you view the item, that can be enough for eBay to to show the seller they have an interested buyer. I know people have said that it takes more than just viewing the item, but there are items where I know I clicked on it, only viewed it long enough to realize that it was not the item I was looking for, and clicked away, and eBay, I still got an offer from the seller. Because I was, quote, interested. Jack says, I've had a pretty low success rate with make an offer. My secret to make an offer is find an item I want that I think's too high and wait a little bit and then make the seller an offer. There's been a couple items where that's worked. Kind of, and now, of course, the risk is someone also buy it in the meantime, but, well, if the price was more than I wanted to pay and someone else is willing to pay more, well, more power to them. I'm looking for a pin header. Remember, I think in my description I said I had floppy drives to fix. I thought of an idea to try to fix this floppy drive to see if it would work, because it's got 4 pins broken off of it. I'm looking for my double wide pin headers, because I'm going to solder pin headers to it. Although, if I can't find them, then I'll move on to the next PC and we'll put it together. But I was thinking I had some... Maybe I don't have any. No. Okay, I guess I don't. Sadmax says, I do that for Goodwill listings where I know it's going to go for way more than I'm willing to pay. Mike says, I'd rather pay someone in the retro community that I know from the chat groups for a reasonable price. The money stays in the community than an eBay flipper. Mike says, Goodwill, you can get great deals or really ripped off in shipping costs. Yes. Yes. All right. don't have pin headers. Oh, you know, there is something we can do. Okay, so I can't fix this drive. Well, I've got them. I just can't find them. I don't want to spend 30 minutes looking for pin headers. That's the problem. It's not that I don't have pin headers at all. I'm pretty sure I have them. I just didn't want to spend 30 minutes looking for them. I hope that's fair. Okay. So this is the drive I got yesterday or today. Notice that no broken header, so I could just plug it straight in. So we are going to test that drive to see if it works, because the eBay seller said tested works. They are now about to be put to the test. Did they actually test it? Does it actually work? Or will I be returning it? Because believe me, if it doesn't work, I overpaid for it. Well, maybe I didn't overpay for it, but I overpaid for it. Because the only reason I paid how much I paid for it was because of the seller claimed it was tested. Although, to be fair, there's some people on eBay that paid more. All right. Let's see if we seek. I don't have the keyboard plugged in. I'm trying to look for my PS2 keyboard. I have set it somewhere. Okay, we have not. All right, I'm looking for the keyboard because hard disk controller failure. I sure didn't hear the floppy drive seek, but maybe I disabled the floppy drives in the BIOS. Also, all right. Let me find the keyboard. Keyboard. Oh, wait. Hold on. Okay. Where did I put the keyboard? Or a keyboard adapter. Keyboard adapter would also work. Oh, I just found the single row pin headers. Keyboard adapter. Where? Keyboard is with the pin headers, evidently. Yeah. Oh, the keyboard got buried under something. And somewhere I have a spare keyboard, and oh, I'm gonna do something silly like leave the spare keyboard in a box. Oh, here, hold on. I think I found the spare keyboard. There we go. That's not to say I won't manage to lose the spare keyboard, but all right, I got a keyboard now. All right, let me plug the keyboard in. Luckily, Dell clearly labeled the ports. All right. Yes, luckily I left the spare keyboard in its box, and luckily I remembered that I set the box up on top of one of my shelves. And then I saw the box up on the shelf, but I don't know where my original keyboard's gone to. All right. One thing I would... Oh, the eBay seller got back to me on that single board computer, and it's going to require a more thoughtful reply. It's my way of saying that I think the seller tried to redefine what they were selling me in the chat, which is kind of weird. I don't know that this floppy drive is working. I didn't hear it seek. Of course, I may have... Okay, well, that was definitely a floppy drive seek. I may have mixed up which drive is which, though, in the BIOS. Let's see, do I have a MS-DOS disk? I think I've got an MS-DOS floppy over here somewhere. Let's try this. Let's see here. Are there LEDs on these drives? trying to look for my MS-DOS floppy, which I think is floating around my workbench. Oh, wait. That might be a bootable disk. That might not be a bootable disk. Hold, please. Still trying to find a boot disk. There's one thing that... Oh yeah, there's probably another thing that I will look for. 3.5-inch floppy disks. I'm looking for an MS-DOS boot disk that I don't mind if it gets destroyed. I don't want to use my diagnostic disk set. Even though it is bootable, I don't have copies of the disks. That would require me to buy some floppy disks. Make my legally allowed backup copy of the original discs I have. Alright, still looking for boot disks. What did I do with... Oh, there we go. That one will work. Here we go. Disk will, and of course, I found a disk that'll work, and then I found disc 2 and 3 of MS-DOS setup. There we go, disc 1. Alright, found some boot disks. Oh, F1. There we go. That must have not been a bootable disk. Yeah, Jack says the BIOS should encourage more gentle behavior towards your keyboard than strike. Well, the 3.5-inch disc booted. Let's go into DOS, and then I'll I think I got some 5 1/4-inch discs we can try. Yeah, I could probably find a hard drive to put in here. Alright, where is that box of... There we go. Box of 5 1/4-inch floppy disks I bought. One of them. There we go. Oh, MS-DOS, tell me something I didn't already know. I can't install on your computer. You don't have a hard drive. Thank you. Thank you, Captain Obvious. All right. So I believe this is WordPerfect install disk number 1. I'm just going to take a quick... we will not be using WordPerfect install disk 1 for testing, because the disk has what appears to be mold on it. Yes. All right. So that disk is disqualified. I guess I can keep the... Oh, I guess I can keep the sleeve, maybe. All right. Well... Oh. Oh, yeah. Those are some hard drive charts that came in that box of floppy disks. I think this is the box of floppy disks I bought off eBay. Yep, that disk. All right, well, WordPerfect install disk number 2 looks moldy, and I didn't even have to turn the media. This is not looking promising. All right, what about WordPerfect install disk number 3? Nope. Something tells me that I'm going to have to revise my regret score on this box of floppy disks. Oh, that one's moldy. I think I need to go find the box I bought at L&Y Electronics, because I think it was a... box that was probably stored in better conditions. Yep, mold. Well, actually... Well, Of course, that disc had mold on it too, but it took me longer to find it. Mold. I am being maybe overly cautious. Maybe I should also show you the disc media. Yeah, why not? All right. Like, there's something on that disc. That one's not as bad as some of them. So, like, there's that one. That's definitely something on the disc. That's something on the disc. Granted, these weren't. Yep. That one's definitely mold or mildew or whatever. It's on the spindle hub on that one. There's that. And that. At some point, honestly, at some point I may just have to call the whole box. Because if enough of the discs have mold on them, then they're probably all moldy. Like, I'm checking this disc. It's not a really great disc. There we go. That. Oh, actually, this disc is. Okay, I don't like this disc for other reasons. It doesn't look like it's moldy. Well, I'm erring on the side of caution. All right, we're gonna call that one. That one's. Yep. I see it right there. Moldy. Let me scroll back to the back of the pack, maybe. Income tax 1990. Oh, that disc is okay. That disc is warped. Okay. That one's disqualified for being warped. That disc is warped. All right. That disc is warped. Something tells me, yeah, that disc is warped. Rapid tutorial. Oh, this one's actually has a spindle hub on it. That's nice. Oh, is this a... Oh. 360K disc of mold. Where's the big bad biologist when you need him? Oh, it's an IBM disc. That label looks suspicious. Yeah, I'm not convinced. Oh, mold. I should probably... Oh, I even see where some of these disc envelopes have been wet. Well, that disc is warped. I should probably just cut my losses on this box of discs and keep the box. And probably throw out all the discs. Because these, I bet all these discs were stored together, and like every one of them has a little bit of mold on it. I should probably just cut my losses and go find the other box of discs I have from L&Y. See, there we go. There's a little spot there. Okay. All right. I'm going to pick a couple discs from the middle. Here's some TDK discs. Ooh, I think that's... I already don't like the way that disc looks. I am highly suspicious of it. Okay, I think that's... Actually... Well... All right. Okay. Oh. Okay, some of these discs I think are only single-sided, which is why the top side of that disc looked weird. I think this disc may actually just be a single-sided disc, and it may not even have a coating on the other side. Okay, I think I actually found a disc that is not moldy. But I'm kind of already weirded out by this box of discs, so... Alright, let me find my other box. Alright. This box, I'm going to... strongly consider tossing the entire box of discs because of how many are moldy. Because I pulled out at least a dozen that are moldy. It looked better when I bought it. It's probably, I think it was stored better, so I'm thinking it may actually have some good discs. I just have to remember where I. All right. All right. Found the box I bought at L&Y. So, first of all, the disc jackets for all these discs look much better. They don't look like they were stored in an attic. Okay, that I think is just an imperfection. Okay, this disc. All right, yeah, this disc looks clean. All right. First disc I pulled out of it. That's probably a good sign. All right, we will use this disc for my test. Well, that's neat. So, it just kind of snaps in place and the eject button slowly extends. It was neat and satisfying. All right. Oh, interesting. Oh. Oh, I bet that it oh, there we go. I need to actually screw the drive in because the 5 1/4 inch drive couldn't spin. I think this might be the part of the process where I realized there might have been some drive rails or something. I don't see where this drive screwed in. But anyways, we are formatting a high density 5 1/4 inch disc. No, I mean, we had some bad sectors, but sure, let's format another. I'll put the drive sideways so I don't have to hold it at an awkward angle. I'm going to format the same disk. Oh, I bet there are bad sectors. Let me go with the chat here. Jack made the Ian says keyboards back then could handle a strike. I'm pretty sure an IBM Model M would even survive a nuclear strike. Yeah, good point. Jack says, I hope the box isn't new mold stock. I have a feeling it was old mold stock. Now I'm feeling suspicious of my 5 1/4 inch disc collection. I've never checked it. Ian says, I've done okay with mine, but they've always been air conditioned. Jack says mine are in a moisture resistant storage box. They've always been stored in a dry space, but who knows? All right, well. Okay, so that disk apparently has some bad sectors. Let's try formatting another disk. Given where I bought these disks, I'm willing to... Actually, let me do this. We don't need to unformat the disk. Yeah, notice DOS just tells you to press enter. All right. I'll try formatting this disk that had bad sectors one more time with the /u. Okay, that disk is good. It's probably the disk. Yep, it's the disk. There's some bad sectors on it. Jack says DOS was clear-eyed about the fragility of some keyboards. Oh wow, that has more bad sectors on it than did. So I think this disk is going bad. We will, alright, don't see any evidence that the disk is delaminating. Probably just a bad disk. Alright, let's try one more disk. But I think it looks like I do have a combo drive to put in my Dell Netplex 450. I just now may need the bracket for it, because I'm looking at the case and I think there may be some sort of a bracket that's missing. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any pictures of another one of these to even begin to see if there's a bracket and what it looks like and where I might find one. Or probably have someone fashion a 3D printed one, but I don't know what it's supposed to look like, so there's problem number one. But at least I have a floppy drive for it. That's cool. And it works. Like it says, try brackets RS. Yeah, it's more like try eBay and hope someone lists a Dell bracket, not sure what system it goes to, and hope that I can tell that it's the one I'm looking for. But yeah, it does. Yep, it does look like there's supposed to be a bracket here because there's no. Because I see a screw on the front there and a screw on the front there. Oh, and the opening's way too wide for the floppy drive alone. Alright, well, I guess there's the next problem with this system. It definitely is a bracket, and I'm going to have to figure out what it's supposed to look like. I guess I'll have to maybe post a Tinker Different and I don't know, maybe. Alright, I guess when I get a chance, I'll take some photos and post it to Tinker Different, and maybe if I can take some good measurements and some pictures of what the case looks like, maybe someone has the skills to make a bracket that will fit, even if I don't know what the original looked like. That is not my wheelhouse. So I guess this Dell is going to be yet another computer that I can't quite put back together yet because, by golly, I can't put it back together. I don't have a bracket I need. Alright. But I have a floppy drive for it, and I guess I'll have to find a hard drive for it. I have hard drives. I don't know what size hard drive it would have shipped with. Although there is a label on the inside of the case. I wonder if maybe it even has a hint as to what it shipped with. No, it does not. It just says where the hard drive connector is. Copyright 1993 Dell. And it was a Netplex 450p. I'm pretty sure the 4 was for 486 and 50 was for 50 megahertz. And P was for, I don't know, parallel port? All right. Jack says there's another Apple II clone on eBay, lol. I'm already having enough fun with my 2.5 Apple II clones. Because remember, I have 2 clones and a motherboard. I saw that, and yeah, I saw it. It has keyboard issues. That made me sad. I didn't put it in my watch list because I actually was not convinced it was an Apple II clone board. I mean, sure, it's got the slots. And, well, I guess the video circuit looks about the same, but I don't know, something about it just was screaming. Oh, I guess it is a 6502 processor. I don't know, that extra slot below slot 6, I can't tell what that's supposed to be. But yeah, I bet that is an Apple II clone. I don't know. I guess I might do some research on it. There was a book, a scanned book, and book might be the wrong term. Someone documented all the Apple II clone boards there were, and it's like from back in the day. Might have to see if that board's in that book. Jack says, it looks legit, but I'm sure it's a project. Oh, I'm sure it is. And it's like 11:45, and I have -1 computers reassembled. I did really great reassembling computers tonight. Thursday, well, no, maybe tomorrow I'll just come down here and... Oh, yeah, there was an update I wanted to give. So, last week I was trying to use these cache chips to upgrade one of those motherboards and give it extra cache. Well, I'm surprised. Maybe I didn't zoom into the cache chips close enough, but I'm surprised someone didn't, notice something about these cache chips. So, I'll zoom in. It's an ISSI IS61C256AH-20N. Got a whole, well, most of a tube of them. Well, anyways, I happened to, for some reason, pull up the datasheet for these chips. And that's why I now have a big red warning on the tube. Because those are 3.3 volt cache chips. And I have had them in multiple 5 volt boards. Interestingly enough, they still test fine. However, I don't know that they work fine. They seem to test fine in the retro chip tester, which does not test them at speed. But they certainly did not work in the board I tried to put them in last week. I do have some 5-volt cache chips on the way. So we might try the cache upgrade again on that board. Luckily, a seller I've bought from in Withville had not exactly the brand I wanted to buy because they're MT RAM SRAMs, but I think they're late enough that MT had gone through all their production issues. But I pulled up their datasheet. There are 5-volt SRAMs, so they'll probably work. And I managed to, I did not find my 64K by 4-bit cache chips wherever I managed to stash them in the basement. But I think it was Friday, or not Friday. I didn't stream last Thursday. Yeah, it was Wednesday morning. I happened to search eBay for 64K by 4 chips. And I apparently managed to find a seller that had just listed 10 of them. Or something like that. They had 10. And they were in California. And they, and not only did they list 10 of them, but they were $2.99 each, which was a more than fair price for them. So I bought 6 of them. So that way, even if they're not all good, I'll have enough cache chips for a couple. Oh, Jack found a rare vintage smoked plastic stand for Apple Image Writer 2. And if it wasn't for the fact they actually pictured an image, set an image writer on top of it to supposedly show that that is a stand for an image writer, although I'm not convinced that that's an image writer stand. Because it looks like it's for a printer that feeds paper in from the bottom. Because if you look at the photos carefully, the image writer is hanging off the side. I don't actually think that's an image writer stand. Yeah, Jack says exactly what I was thinking. There's no indication it's for an image writer 2. Yeah, in fact, I might almost would say that maybe it is for an image writer, because I think the image writer is narrower than the image writer 2. But still, I don't think the image writer has a bottom feed slot either. Jack says if they slap an Apple sticker on it, it would be legit. Yeah, totally. Totally. But anyways, yeah, I don't think that stand is for an image writer. They also want $125 for it. Which is ridiculous. Anyways, yeah. Well, apparently I am watching one of their auctions. They've got a heatsink that I was watching. One of the 486 clip-on heatsinks. Actually, this Dell could almost use one of those heatsinks because the processor's not marked that it needs a heatsink, but they do kind of run a bit warm. Jack says, there are a bunch of Quadra 840 AVs for sale right now. Let me guess, Commander Scott listed a bunch. I mean, I would say Steve, but I know better. Oh, Polka Dots has one listed. Well, it's just the logic board. Oh, there's a Quadra 840 AV. It's in Japan. It's only $900. Free shipping. Oh, there we go. Polka Dots has one for $2,800 plus $100 delivery. Although, well, it's Apple Antiques, but tell me that's not actually polka dots. Oh, there we go. Oh, polka dots does have one. It's $3,000 plus $100 delivery. Yikes. Oh, there's another one. $1,500 plus $100 delivery. Well, I guess I'm not getting a Quadra 840 AV anytime soon. $2,500 plus $100 delivery. $2,000 plus $100 delivery. Like Quadra 840 AVs for every price range. And 900s and 950s. Polka dots and Apple Antiques. Oh no, these are like $2,000 to $3,000. Yes, these are like exceedingly overpriced. It's just, unfortunately, that's his modus operandi, and no one's got time to post everything he lists to exceedingly overpriced vintage electronics, because it would be like a minute-by-minute task. Jack says, I feel like there's actually one of these items and the seller has listed different configurations of it. I had that same thought, that there's actually maybe one of them, and whichever one you buy is how it will be configured. I had that distinct impression myself. But anyways, at those prices, I won't be getting a Quadra 640 or 840 AV anytime soon. Alright, so tonight I've managed to reassemble -1 computers because, well, that computer was not disassembled before I started the stream. Oh well, not every stream can be a success. The Dell is missing a bracket. The other two computers I could put together, but maybe those cache chips will be here by Thursday. And maybe Thursday's stream will just be a continuation so that I can put those computers together so that I can, like, then clean my workbench this weekend. And then maybe work on a Mac next week. And if those cache chips come in, then I'll be more willing to put that computer together after we try to upgrade the cache. But at least the Dell's floppy drive works, at least the one I bought more recently. If I can find the header pins I'm looking for, we can try to fix this drive. Because basically what I'm going to do to fix it is I'm going to solder a double row header pins on the original connector. Because these 4 pins are broken. And that'll let me run a bodge wire from the traces to the last 4 pins. And then you'll be able to plug in a 3.5-inch floppy drive cable to it. Because I can't think of a way to fix the PCB and restore the card edge connector. But if I solder header pins to that, then you can just use a 3.5-inch floppy drive cable. And actually, it might make it a bit long, but I'll just solder header pins to that and not try to cut it down first. And I mean, there is a scratch on the bottom. But I think step number 1 is restoring the connector so I can actually plug it in and see if the thing even seeks and is detected. Because the bottom scratch could be superficial. It doesn't necessarily look like it goes all the way through. Oh, hi, Tim. Welcome. So, if I can find the header pins, we'll try to fix that. Put the 386 together. If the cache chips come in, then we can actually try to upgrade the cache. Take 2. Jack says, someone is selling a boxed copy of text preparation software from 1998. that sounds very useful. Because if someone hasn't filed their 1998 tax return by now, if they were due a refund, it's past the statute of limitations, so they can't get a refund. Maybe they owe money and are being taken to court by the IRS, so they need to actually do their taxes from 98 because they had they owed money and they didn't do them, so now they need to do it. But why you just wouldn't download the tax forms and have your tax lawyer do it instead of buying tax prep software from 98 to do it? I don't know. I cannot think of any reason why. I mean, maybe there's someone out there that likes filling out tax forms. I mean, okay. But that is one thing that I'm just like, I don't know why someone would want to buy that, because it's kind of weird. I mean, I could see if it was 2 or 3 years old, then yeah, you could still file your taxes if you were due a refund. Jack says, in case you want to recheck your 98 taxes. Yeah, because actually I think it's like, in the US, you only have to hold your tax returns for like 7 years before you could actually get rid of it. Of course, federal law is a bit. They also have that. Unless your tax return was fraudulent, then you have to keep it forever. And of course, had to add that. But it's like 7 years is, I think, the retention period for a tax return for an individual. But I am not a tax professional, so you'll want to check with a tax professional before you actually listen to me on that detail. But I guess, Jack, maybe someone does want to recheck their 98 taxes. Okay. That's fair. I mean, maybe they have maybe they've got an old hard drive and it's got data on it. They need it. Maybe maybe their 98 taxes had some number on it that they need that number now because they're depreciating something. Or, I don't know, they have a mortgage from 98 that they're still paying. Okay, that could be it. Maybe they need the tax return because they got to look something up and they lost the printout or whatnot. That's VBoard. Tim says, I'm not a tax professional, but I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. Well, that wouldn't work for me because I didn't stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night. But anyways, alright, so don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you know when I go live next. Thursday's probably going to be another let's try to reassemble these PCs because I seemingly failed miserably tonight. Let's see if there is a chance that maybe those parts might be in Thursday. Otherwise, maybe we'll look at a Mac and I'll get back to the PCs next week. I don't know. Let's see here. The one cache chips are in Jersey City. Supposed to arrive Friday. The cache on that motherboard on that one computer would be under the drives, which is why I would rather upgrade the cache before I put it together. Let's see. The other ones say they'll be here Thursday. I don't know. I guess it's possible I could have all the cache chips for Thursday. Stan's asking, how many PCs do you have now? I don't know. I do know I have a few PCs that if I can get some working, I'd probably slim a few of them down. But anyways, in terms of PCs, I think I have a pretty good representation of each of the generations up through Pentium, or like early Pentium 3. I guess the slot ones. course, once you get much past that, my nostalgia factor goes down. So I think I have a decent cross section that if I was wanting to play a game on an appropriate system, I have at least a decent cross section of PCs from each era that I'd probably be able to pull a PC out that was era appropriate and play it. Up to about slot 1 Pentium 3s. I do have a few things newer than that, but that's where I start to get way more selective. And the answer to that also is a bit hard because I have a bunch of cases that have nothing in them. So if I start to count cases, I might throw myself off because I do have some cases with nothing in them. I also have a box of motherboards, so it depends on what your definition of PC is. Is it a full assembled, or is it the ability to build one, or does it count even if it's just a motherboard in a box? Now, there's one thing I do need to go through. I need to go through my motherboard box, because I do have some motherboards that I need to probably pare down. So, yeah. Stan says, I'm having a hard time finding a case with 3.5-inch openings now. Nobody does floppies anymore. Yeah. In fact, cases with 5.25-inch bays are getting really hard to find too. They have to resort to 5.25-inch to 3.5-inch faceplate adapter. Yeah. Because I do know that I've noticed that the prices of AT cases and early ATX cases seems to be coming down a little bit, but some of the more popular ones are still staying up there in price. So, anyways, I think it's about time to end the stream because it is, it's midnight here. So, yep, we'll see. So Thursday, if I'm going to have the cache chips to do it, I may continue the stream. And if the cache chips aren't going to be here, then maybe we'll take a look at the SE30 logic board. Kind of spurred on by Dave's stream where I was able to image the hard drive that was in the SE30. Don't worry, there was nothing exciting on the hard drive. It was WordPerfect. WordPerfect on System 7.1. Yeah, I know. Don't jump too high. I know you're just leaping at the thought of WordPerfect for Mac on System 7.1, but you don't want to hurt yourself here. Now is not the time to risk your jumping muscles. Yeah. Nothing exciting on that drive. It was like documents? No. Old version of tax prep software? No. AppleWorks? Nope. Game? Nope. WordPerfect on System 7.1. That was it. Oh, and teach text and simple text. Oh, I think it did have Norton Utilities now that I think about it. But yeah, Norton Utilities, WordPerfect on System 7.1. Yeah, I know. Absolutely thriller of a hard drive. Yeah, Jack says they must have saved all their WordPerfect documents on floppy disks. They must have, because there were no documents. Unless I run data recovery software on it to see if the documents are there, but I'm not going to. That would take too much effort, and I don't really need to. I'm not going to snoop on anything they tried to delete. It's like, no, I think they probably did save their WordPerfect documents on floppy disk, because the drive seems to be pretty sterile. Because the thing is, when you save documents on the computer, you inevitably save one in the wrong place, and there doesn't appear to be any documents on it. Not for WordPerfect. Not for like anything they deleted. I think they really only had WordPerfect and Norton Utilities installed on it. Jack says, you could recover the smutty novel they were writing. No, thank you. Dave says, I like the Wi-Fi on the SE30. Very cool. I take it you got that working better once you took the computer closer to your Wi-Fi point. But anyways, yeah. So if we got cache chips, I'll try to reassemble PCs so that I can clean my workbench. If I'm not going to have cache chips, then we'll start to recap the SE30 logic board. Because the thing is, the hard drive that was in it works. It sounded pretty good. So I'm kind of like, that's a computer I can put back together with an actual hard drive. But I do have an image of the drive, so if anything happens to the physical hard drive, I can put the image on a Blue SCSI and WordPerfect to my heart's content. And with that, Jack says, so what you're saying, Dave, is you moved it close enough that you could just plug in an Ethernet cable, eh? Yeah. Well, that would require an Ethernet card first, but yes. Dave's laughs. Yep. All right, so anyways, I'm glad you all hung out with me. We're cool in the chat. Gave me some moral support. Put up with me for not reassembling anything and disassembling an extra computer. At least we got some cool potential regrets that might come in handy later, like this gem of a floppy drive that I'm hoping no one asks me how much I paid for it. We've got this the Core 2 Quad single board computer, Socket 7 single board computer, sound card for my IBM PC that I bought from Tom Barber. Yes, and the Savage 9 video card that has the video RAM on the die of the video chip. Yeah, that one I'm definitely looking forward to checking out at some point. Because it's a laptop graphics chip on an AGP card. So anyways, some pretty interesting potential regrets. And, yeah, we'll hopefully get some of these computers back together so I can put them on my shelf. Which will help me then, if I were to find anything to take to the swap meet to sell, the swap meet is in 2 weekends in Wall, New Jersey, it'll help if I have these PCs back together so I can get a better idea of what I have and what I need. So that I can maybe even swap things. But anyways, we'll see. I have I did look, I think I have through Thursday to cancel my room reservation without penalty, but I pretty much think I'm probably going to be there because I want to see my friends. Even if the only thing I buy is an iMac for a quarter from Tom Barber, I want to see my friends, and there's going to be a bunch of them there. So I have a feeling I'm going to go, even if that's the only thing I buy and I see friends. So, anyways, yeah, final plug for the coffee goal, or of course I got super chats and that on YouTube. Kind of ease the pain for me paying for shipping for some Atari ST stuff from Canada, to then probably put that directly towards buying stuff at the swap meets. So, anyways, I hope to see you all here Thursday. So with that, I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Take care and God bless. Computerized Start is brought to you by my awesome patrons on Patreon, and by your tips and memberships on Ko-fi. These and other channel supporters make my live streams possible. You too can become a channel supporter with tiers starting at just $1. Don't forget to smash that like button. And if you've liked what you've seen, subscribe and turn on notifications so that you don't miss the next video or live stream. And as always, thank you for all your support. I hope to see you next time. And until then, take care.